Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Mike Fussell here with your latest local sports action. Interior athletes were all over this weekend, but some did stay home. Among those in town was the Alaska Nanook volleyball team. They fought it out at the Alaska Airlines Court against the Central Washington Wildcats. The Cats went into the game tied for second place in GNAC standings. Alaska has been climbing the ranks as well and now sits at 7th place. The Nanooks kept it close during the first two sets but could not close out on the Wildcats. That put Central Washington up 2-0 early on. UAF would answer back with a strong third set and keep things interesting in the fourth. We'll have full results next week during the weekend recap with Joe Cook. The Nanook volleyball team takes on Western Washington next Thursday. And the Alaska Nanook men's basketball team got their season rolling last night in Reno against the University of Nevada. UAF had a tough first half in the exhibition game against the Wolfpack, but only came up with 21 points to Nevada's 40 in the first half. They would close the gap slightly after halftime, but ultimately could not keep up with the Pack. Outside of a single-point lead seconds into the first, the Nanooks played trailing the entire game. The Nooks lose it 84-53. Alaska forward Trevante Williams had a game high of 17 points and 10 rebounds. That earned him a double-double performance. The next highest scoring player for Fairbanks finished with less than half of that score, tallying only 7. And the Lady Nanooks Hoopers stepped on the court for the first time this season earlier today. They met up with some familiar faces, keeping tradition alive with an alumni game. The early season tune-up match let the team work out kinks and develop a rhythm before getting full swing into the season. The Lady Nooks kick that off hosting Cal State Stanislaus next weekend for the GNAC Pac West Challenge. They will also take on Dixie State University a week from today at the Alaska Airlines Court. Head coach Cody Bench was at the helm earlier today. She leads the team for her 5th season. And the West Valley Wolfpack and North Pole Patriots found each other at opposite ends of the net earlier today. The Mac High School volleyball title and regional honors were on the line for the second year in a row between the two teams. West Valley grabbed a big win in the first set, 25-20. They tweaked a few things and grew their lead in set 2. They would take that 25-18, and they capped it all off with a victory in the third. The Wolfpack takes the match 3-0 and moves on to the state tournament undefeated in regular game play. They will have a chance at the ASAA title next week in Anchorage starting Thursday. And the Alaska Nanooks got their first point of the WCHA play last night against Northern Michigan. The action kicked off at the Carlson Center with Tyler Morley finding the back of the net around 8.5 minutes in. Morley continued to fire off hot in the first period, scoring another goal 5 minutes later during a power play. That put the Nooks up 2-0 going into the intermission. In P2, both teams would grab a goal, leaving the score at 3-1 with Northern Michigan still within striking distance. But third period Fry and Bunsen goals would give Alaska some breathing room and ultimately the 5-2 victory. Tyler Morley enters the 100-point club with the win becoming the 33rd player to do so in program history.
Guys were prepared. Maybe it's because the parents are in town. They're showing off a little bit. But regardless, I thought they came out hard and took it to them right away. A couple power plays right away help. That always helps with momentum. But you know, we got some bounces that went our way for the first time in a while, and I think that obviously helps. And we came out on top tonight. So.
And the Ice Dogs were on the road Friday night, battling it out with the Kenai River Brown Bears. The two teams would be just 5 tallies away from equilibrium in shot counts after the first period. And the score reflected just that, with Fairbanks up by 1, thanks to a Reiner Growski power play goal late in the period. But after the break, the Dogs would unleash themselves, out shooting the Brown Bears 27-6 in the second period. Fairbanks' Logan Coombs and Liam Sturzinger would slip shots between the pipes during that frame, cementing momentum for the team. It would all finish the same way with 2 more Fairbanks goals. The Ice Dogs get the upper hand over Kenai River, 6-1. All right, and that about brings us to the buzzer for sports tonight. Katie Looper has your full weather forecast coming up next. Thanks for checking in, and we'll see you next weekend.